in the heart of an Arabian night, a peaceful bedtime turned into a chilling encounter with the unknown. A toy chest, a whispered warning, and a mysterious presence revealed a hidden danger lurking in the shadows. This is the haunting tale of The Jinn in the Toy Chest, a story of fear, faith, and the unseen. It was a warm, quiet night in a small village near the edge of the Arabian desert. The moonlight gently streamed through the window of a modest home where a mother rocked her young son to sleep in an old wooden chair. She hummed a soothing Arabic lullaby, her soft voice filling the room. The boy, barely 2 years old, usually drifted off easily, but tonight he was restless. His wide, innocent eyes kept staring at the corner of the room where a beautifully carved wooden toy chest sat. The chest was a family heirloom, gifted to them by the boy's grandmother. It was adorned with intricate designs and Arabic symbols, a seemingly harmless treasure box for the boy's toys. The mother noticed her son's unease. "What's wrong, Omri? What are you looking at?" she asked gently. She removed his binky to hear his reply. The boy pointed toward the toy chest and whispered, "Fe wahash." Her heart skipped a beat. She felt a chill despite the warm night. "A monster?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. She turned her gaze toward the chest, expecting to see nothing unusual. But then it happened. The toy chest, which had been securely latched, began to creak. The latch slowly lifted as if an unseen hand was opening it. The lid groaned loudly as it rose, revealing the dark emptiness within. The mother froze, clutching her son tightly. Fear gripped her as the room seemed to grow colder. She whispered a quick prayer in Arabic, her voice shaky but determined. Without a second thought, she bolted from the room, holding her son close. She ran to wake her husband, who was already in bed. Breathless and terrified, she recounted what had just happened, saying, "The chest! It opened on its own. And the window, it's open too." Her husband frowned, trying to calm her, and said, "You're tired. Maybe it was just the wind." But when he entered the child's room, he found the chest wide open, its lid tilted as though something had emerged. The window, which had been shut and locked earlier, was now wide open, letting the desert breeze flow in. The father locked the window and carefully closed the chest, securing it tightly. But something about the room felt wrong. The air was heavy, and an eerie silence filled the space. He couldn't explain it, but he felt as though they were not alone. That night, the family decided to move the boy's cradle into their bedroom. It seemed safer to have him close, away from whatever strange force had invaded their home. But the strange occurrences didn't stop. At night, faint whispers could be heard in the house. The sound was soft, almost like a conversation in a language they couldn't understand. Shadows danced on the walls, even when there was no light to cast them. One night, the mother woke suddenly. She felt an icy draft sweep across the room. When she looked toward her son's cradle, she saw it, a tall, shadowy figure standing over him. Its form was hazy like smoke, but its presence was undeniable. She screamed, waking her husband, but by the time he turned on the lamp, the shadow had vanished. "It's a Jinn," the mother whispered, clutching her son. "It's tied to the chest." The next day, the father took the chest to the village elder, a man known for his wisdom and knowledge of the unseen world. "This chest is not ordinary," the elder said gravely. "These carvings are ancient symbols meant to bind a Jinn. Someone must have used it to trap the creature long ago." "What can we do?" the father asked, his voice heavy with worry. "You must seal the chest with these verses," the elder said, handing him a parchment inscribed with Quranic prayers. "Anoint it with blessed oil and bury it far away where no one will find it." That night, the father prepared to follow the elder's instructions. As he carried the chest out of the house, the whispers returned, louder and angrier. Suddenly, the chest flew from his grip, slamming onto the ground. Its latch burst open, and thick black smoke poured out, twisting into the towering form of a Jinn. Its fiery eyes glowed with rage as it bellowed, saying, "You dare imprison me again? You will pay!" The father began reciting verses from the Quran, his voice shaking but resolute. The Jinn roared, its form writhing with fury. Inside the house, the mother clutched her son tightly as the air turned icy. Shadows stretched and clawed at the walls, and a deep growl filled the room. The boy pointed to the corner, his small voice trembling, "Fe wahash." The lights flickered and went out, plunging the house into darkness. The mother screamed as the shadows began closing in, their jagged forms reaching for her and the child. Outside, the father poured blessed oil onto the chest and pressed the prayer parchment against it. The Jinn let out a deafening shriek, its form twisting violently before being dragged back into the chest. "This is not over!" it hissed before disappearing. The father buried the chest deep in the desert, marking the spot with a simple stone. But even as they returned home, the family felt an eerie presence. Whispers echoed in the night, and the boy would sometimes point to the corners of the room, whispering, "Fe wahash." Years later, travelers spoke of strange whispers and glowing eyes near a lone stone in the desert. The family moved far away, but the memory of that night lingered, along with the haunting feeling that the Jinn was still watching, waiting for its chance to return.